you are given the probability of an event, you can make a decision or a prediction about that event using portions. Our first example, where 500 customers were surveyed at Target, they had 3 options. 125 said they were pleased, 340 said they were satisfied, and 35 said they were unhappy. Obviously, Target has more than 500 customers, so they wanted to know how many people in their area would be unhappy if they asked all 500,000 people the same question. So in doing the math, we had 500,000, we had 500 compared to 500,000, and we had 35 unhappy compared to X unhappy. We did our cross products down below, and we found out that about 35,000 customers would be unhappy out of 500,000. That's a lot, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think Nathan Heine told us that would be about 7%. You also could have done your proportion this way. 35 out of 500 were unhappy, therefore X out of 500,000 would be unhappy. Either way, you're going to come up with 35,000 customers. Number 2 is very similar in the fact that we're trying to figure out how many times Ryan would correctly guess the card he was going to draw if he drew a card 1,000 times. So he has a 1 out of 52 chance of guessing correctly. If he did it 1,000 times, he would guess it about 19 times. Okay? And then the last part was fair games, determining if games are fair or not. And our basic cheat sheet idea said, when determining probability, if you write all the possible outcomes down, it's going to make your life a lot easier as far as determining if something is fair or not fair. Our example would be Merritt and Rathika flipping coins. If you read number 3, you can tell that that's a fair game. If you read number 4, which is a little bit further down the page here, you can tell that it is not a fair game. And the only way we determine if they were fair or not fair is because we drew out all the possibilities. That would be called, I know we haven't talked about this yet, but that would be called a sample space. Okay, all the different possible outcomes is called a sample space. We'll talk about that later on in a different lesson. Any questions? Sorry you weren't involved in that. That's the best I could do.